Terima kasih. Yang berbahagia Datuk Haji Kasim bin Haji Muhammad Ibrahim, Timbalan Pengarah Kanan, Kluster Latihan. Yang berusaha Puan Maznah binti Abu Bakar, Pengarah Bahagian Sumber dan Teknologi Pendidikan. Yang berusaha Tuan Haji Faridun bin Zahid, Ketua Pusat Pembangunan dan Keputusan Teknologi. Semua ketua-ketua pusat, semua ketua-ketua jabatan, pacara kanan dan pegawai berada di atas sekalian dan diundi. Selamat datang diucapkan ke IAB. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bengkel perkongsian strategik ini di pagi ini adalah dari Google, Apple dan Microsoft dengan fokus kepada kepimpinan digital abad ke-21. Bagi melihat secara praktikal bagaimana digital leadership dijalankan oleh partners melalui platform kelima dan juga melihat kajian kes dari seluruh dunia. Tanpa membuang masa, majlis mempersilakan berbahagia Datuk Haji Kasim bin Haji Muhammad Ibrahim naik ke pentas ucapan pembukaan. Silakan.
Tuan dan Puan sedang hadirin yang berhormat sekalian. Dahulu saya ucapkan selamat datang kepada yang berusaha pengarah STP, Puan Haji Maznah, Abu Bakar serta beberapa orang pegawai daripada STP, wakil-wakil pihak Google, Microsoft dan juga Apple, ke sesi pembentangan program kepimpinan digital abad 21 pada pagi ini. Selamat datang Tuan dan Puan sekalian. Semua dengan itu, dengan pembentangan program kepimpinan digital ini dapat memberikan manfaat kepada semua pihak, khususnya di IAB yang melalui bidang kepimpinan pendidikan digital. Bahagia Puan Haji, Tuan Puan sekalian, yang bermakluman bahawa dasar digital ini sangat dibincangkan. Kita di IAB memang Tuan Haji Faridun dan jasa dari masa ke semasa memanggil untuk membincangkan bagaimana kita sambut di IAB, peranan IAB sebagai menguruskan kepimpinan dan melatih kepimpinan. Dan sekarang ini dengan dasar digital ini, kita juga memberikan bagaimana kepimpinan main peran besar dalam membantu membudayakan digital di sekolah-sekolah kita. Khususnya pada kedua besar kita main peran penting. Ya. So, saya selalu berkongsi dengan rakan-rakan semua bahawa sebenarnya cerita digital ini sudah sekian lama. Tapi apabila kita diuji dengan pandemik COVID, dengan PKP semacam yang kita lalui setahun lebih ini, nampaknya begitu terasa keperluannya digital ini. So, kita mantapkan dan kita kira pun inilah yang perlu kita sediakan bagi generasi kita. Kita melihat, selalu bincang dengan rakan di IAB ini, yang berbahagia Datuk Pengarah sendiri pun menekankan pentingnya dan kepimpinan digital. Jadi perjumpaan bagi hari ini dari pihak Datuk Pengarah dan warga IAB mengalu-alukan kehadiran ini dan terima kasih banyak kerana memilih IAB pada pagi ini untuk berkongsi pengalaman tentang aspek digital ini. Tinggi penghargaan dan terima kasih. Saya ingat itu saja yang saya sampaikan. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih diucapkan kepada yang berbahagia Datuk Haji Kasim bin Haji Muhammad Ibrahim. Seterusnya, tidak membuang masa, majlis mempersilakan wakil dari Microsoft, iaitu mereka mahu diperkenalkan dengan nama pendek lebih mesra. Puan Shida, Educational Director, Puan Fairuz, Learning Solution Specialist, dan Cik Eja, Customer Success Manager. Dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang berbahagia Datuk Kasim, Timbalan Pengarah IT, yang berusaha Puan Mazlan Bubakar, Pengarah BSPC, dan semua yang mengikuti event kita pada hari ini. Saya wakil daripada Microsoft Malaysia, iaitu Shida, nama pendek Shida dan Abidin, right? Selaku pengarah pendidikan daripada Microsoft Malaysia. So pada hari ini saya akan bergabung dengan tim saya, pasukan saya, iaitu Puan Fairuz selaku Learning Solution Specialist dan juga Cik Eja, iaitu Customer Success Manager, yang akan berkongsi serta sedikit berkaitan dengan program yang kami ada, right? Dan program ini bukanlah program baru. Kami telah menjalinkan MOU dengan DSCP semenjak 2016. So, kebanyakan program yang kami jalankan adalah melalui MOU atau Memorandum of Understanding semenjak 2016, dan kami bermula dengan program-program untuk guru. Cuma I think pada 2018 kami telah ada program khas, iaitu program khusus untuk leadership, dan segala yang kami ingin jalankan untuk education ada di dalam Education Transformation Framework, iaitu salah satu orang kata framework yang sangat penting untuk education, yang kami hasilkan berdasarkan daripada maklum balas dan pengalaman kami bekerjasama dengan education organisation around the world. So this is how the book looks like. Yeah. So memang tebal. So a copy of this has been given to Menteri dan juga Perdana Menteri. Yeah. So this is not just for educators, because I think even for policy makers, mereka merasakan kesesuaian untuk melihat semua yang ada di dalam Microsoft Education Transformation Framework. So kami ada dua versi. Satu versi untuk K-12, iaitu di peringkat sekolah, dan satu lagi di peringkat higher education. Slightly different lah, tapi I think the concept is the same. Okay, first saya nak ucapkan terima kasih kepada Dr. Syukri kerana memberi peluang kepada Microsoft dan juga saya rasa rakan kami yang lain, iaitu Google dan juga Apple, kemudian untuk membentangkan program yang kami ada untuk memantapkan lagi leadership program, ya, ataupun yang dinamakan digital leadership in Malaysia, kan. So pasukan saya telah menyiapkan beberapa slide untuk dikongsikan, tetapi secara dasarnya kami akan kongsikan a few sahaja, right? For the purpose of we were just given 1 hour, so kita akan discuss pasal education transformation framework, what we have in ETF, right? Dan specifically untuk memantapkan digital leadership. Kemudian kami akan juga perkenalkan program yang kami rasa sebelum ini memang banyak kali hanya ditujukan kepada guru-guru. Tetapi kami just I think a few weeks ago, beberapa minggu lepas, ada announcement daripada Corp, ya, Microsoft Corp di US, mengatakan the same program can be extended kepada leadership. So when we talk about leadership, these are the leaders in the school, the system leaders as well. So system leaders di PD, di JPN, ya, di kementerian. So boleh juga orang kata mengikuti program yang disediakan sebelum ni khusus untuk guru sahaja. Dan yang ketiga, yang paling exciting sekali adalah itu berkenaan certification. Yang paling penting sekali untuk guru-guru kalau untuk school leaders, what's in it for them. Kalau mereka mereka menumpukan dia punya perhatian kepada certification, selalunya certification kita enforce kepada guru-guru. Tapi sekarang ni dah ada certification untuk school leaders. So what's in it for them, right? So kami akan berkongsi juga sedikit berkenaan program ini dan apa yang boleh menyebabkan orang kata can help to motivate or increase the motivation of the school leaders, ya. So without further ado, I would like to invite my learning solution specialist, Puan Fairuz, untuk berkongsi program kita dengan lebih. I think we will also open for Q&A later on, maybe about 10 minutes before the end of the session.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera semua. Good morning to everybody who is also tuning in live. First of all, as mentioned by Kak Shida, thank you so much Dr. Shukri for Maznah and everyone in this room for making this happen, giving opportunity for Microsoft to present what we have to offer for for school leaders. Saya ini bahasa, alright? Okay, so this is So why is it important for us to have digital transformation in education, right? First is to keep up with the world that is constant, especially during the COVID-19, right? Ever since we were struck with the pandemic, we have seen the struggles and we have seen the challenges faced by educators, by school leaders, even by everybody, including students, but with that, that pandemic kind of forced everybody to work together and come up with solutions. And using technology has been one of the solutions. And it is also important for digital transformation in education for everybody in the education industry to adapt with the future, right? Especially when we talk about children or students who are still learning, they have to start from young. And that's why we have all of these programs that we are going to share later, right, including education. Because in order to nurture the students, it starts with the teachers. In order to nurture the teachers, I believe it starts with the students. Right? And that summarizes as well the transformation that begins with the leaders, as stated in the third point. So this is what we believe in at Microsoft, right? Which is to empower every student to achieve more. And by empowering students, it comprises of how they learn, how they use technology, but also how they move forward with the teachers as well as the school leaders, right? And this is a quote from Satya Nadella, right? As COVID-19 impacts every aspect of our work and life, we have seen 2 years worth of digital transformation in 2 months. And I believe this is true because, as I've mentioned earlier, right, the pandemic is a blessing in disguise. Ada hikmahnya, kita percaya, right? Where some of us may have been ready, right, to adapt to the changes, but we did it, right? Alhamdulillah, we did it. And until today, it is still an ongoing journey. Whether, I can also say whether we like it or not, with this rapid change, it has happened, right? So, ini adalah education program daripada Microsoft yang kita nak tawarkan kepada school leaders. First is the Continuous Professional Development Program via the 5, right? And I will go through one by one in a bit after this. So there are a lot of resources that educators and school leaders can gain access, especially for online courses, self-paced learning, right? in Delima. And second one is certification program for school leaders. And this is what Ashida mentioned just now, right? We will be looking at it, what the school leaders can also take part and be recognized and be awarded with a certification. And the third one is digital transformation program, which we will go through an overview of what is education framework. And this program is 100% for school leaders, but it is also for the whole school, right? The transformation involves the school leaders, teachers, the students, the environment, and even the learning process and so on. And number 4 is our Microsoft Showcase School program. Dan Microsoft Showcase School program kita dah run for quite a number of years, right? And it has been an ongoing collaboration between Microsoft Malaysia and MOE, the STP. So even in December, kita telah panggil partner, right, to reach out to 7 JPN states untuk partner tawarkan webinar, right, mengenai ETF dan Microsoft Showcase School pada SSTP officers, school leaders dan juga ICT teachers, right, beri pendedahan awal. Dan the program is still ongoing, and insyaAllah in May kita akan continue to the remaining JPN states. And the final, I wouldn't say the final, but just for today, right, I'm sure insyaAllah there will be a lot more programs, would be the exclusive professional services by our Microsoft Global Training Partners, right? Because Microsoft, we work closely with our partners. They are called CTPs, atau Global Training Partners, and they deliver the training, and they are well equipped with the knowledge on Microsoft technology and also Microsoft related content. So let's look at the first one. As mentioned, it's a continuous professional development program for school leaders, right? Dan semua ni ada di dalam D5. So Microsoft ada platform MEC ataupun Microsoft Educator Center, di mana guru-guru termasuklah school leaders boleh sign in, daftar, sama ada nak daftar guna personal email ataupun nak daftar guna MOEDL, tak ada masalah, dan boleh ambil kursus-kursus online. Dan ramai yang tanya, adakah kursus online ni perlu dibayar? Right? Tidak. Ianya cuma, right, untuk semua. Dan daripada mengambil kursus-kursus ni juga, you can select a variety of topics. So maybe today you want to start with the ETF, ada kursus yang khusus untuk ETF. You want to continue learning about Microsoft Teams, ada kursus-kursus yang ajar tentang Microsoft Teams, right? Dan dia very specific, sama ada you want to use it for classroom purposes, for teaching purposes, or you want to use it for administrative purposes, ada content dalamnya, right? And as mentioned, it is all available in D5. Then we believe that teachers need access to robust professional development because they need to constantly have that knowledge, easy access of that knowledge anytime, anywhere, right? And now, you know, we are accessing everything online, alhamdulillah now. So it's easier for the teachers to use their time to take that self-paced learning. So ini adalah contoh kursus online di dalam Microsoft Education Center. Contohlah, sebab kalau kita tengok kat sini, tajuk dia Transform Learning with Microsoft Teams. Durasi dia 1 jam. Bila dia publish, so Microsoft constantly updates the content so that it is up to date, right? And then apa dia punya learning objective, right? So this is important because that will be the first thing that you want to see whether you want to take the course or not, right? Whether it's relevant to you or not. Then this is the inside of the course, right? So what is key, apa dia punya module. So it is good because you can actually jump to which topics, because I understand I'm going to take this story from a dear friend of mine who is teaching in SK Taman Indah. So masa Cikgu Fazli, towards moving towards Microsoft Teams, so he had to teach his school leader, right, Cik Razlan, and juga educate guru-guru yang lain. Jadi Microsoft Educator Center ni sangat membantu sebab when Cikgu Fazli is not around to teach them, then they can just access. Dan MEC juga diterima untuk professional development di sekolah tersebut. Right? And upon completing the content that is dapatkan, so all you need to do is just take a quiz, right? It's very direct, just as a refresher. And then guru-guru dan juga school leaders akan dapat CJ, right? So this is your professional development, continuous professional development, right? So you get a digital badge and you will get certificate. So in Microsoft Education Center or MEC, ada khusus ETF, and this is the highlighted course especially for school leaders. In fact, when our partners delivered webinar to the DPN states, right, they prioritized the content in ETF and encouraged school leaders and even the IT people to take the courses here, and it helped, right? Right. So that's a bit about the CPD. I will continue with the second program that we want to offer to the showcase leaders, is the certification program. Okay. So there is certified MIE, certified Microsoft Innovative Educator. This is a recognition, dan sebelum ni it was highly promoted to among teachers. But there are also school leaders yang dah pakai MEC, dia dah ambil kursus, right? Dan dia dah dapat dah the recognition ni, right? Sebenarnya dah ramai dah. And in fact, when I was a trainer back then, I used to train a group of school leaders, and we explored MEC. That was in 2015. And so certified MIE ni is a recognition siapa-siapa yang berjaya complete 2 hours of course dalam MEC akan dapat jadi certified MIE, right? Dan seterusnya, so this contohlah 2 kursus dalam MEC, satu jam boleh ambil apa-apa kursus sekalipun, right? Dan biasanya ada soalan-soalan daripada masa cikgu-cikgu nak memperkenalkan MEC di sekolah. One of the questions yang guru besar ataupun tua-tua akan tanya ialah, there are a lot of questions, where do we start, right? So it is entirely up to the school. You can actually have like a plan. You nak focus on maybe ETF first, or 21st century learning design, ataupun Office 365 first, right? It's entirely up to the school, right? So this is a sample of the certified MIE badge and certificate. Next, this is our premier program. It's a global program, right? It's not only for Malaysia, but it's for worldwide. This has been running, this program has been run for a few years, and like Kak Shida mentioned just now, we have always focused on educators, on teachers, right? We recruit passionate teachers to join this community, and it's wonderful to see that the numbers of MIE experts always grow on a yearly basis, right? Dan semakin ramai yang cannot wait to apply or re-nominate next month, because the nomination will open next month. And as mentioned by Kak Shida, KLIK has announced, right, with the new nomination nanti, it is also open to showcase school leaders. Sorry, I keep mentioning showcase. It is also open to school leaders, right? Bukan guru-guru sahaja. Even professional development specialist, right? If you are a trainer, that you have something related to teaching and learning, you are encouraged to apply and be a part of this community. Sebab this MIE Expert Program ni, it's a wonderful platform where teachers, educators worldwide can collaborate with each other, do sharing session, and you get your students to also learn from other countries, right? And of course, Microsoft akan prioritize cikgu-cikgu ataupun school leaders yang MIE experts to present in our program. Right? So once again, this is, we invite school leaders to join this program, and of course, if you need more details, you need briefings, we can definitely offer, one session for all of the school leaders on updates. Because a lot of people might question, tapi we are quite occupied with admin work, right? And our teachers do the teaching part, right? And we do the admin part, and it is okay, right? Because before you became a guru besar or pengetua, you already have that wealth of experience in teaching, right? And you understand all the types of learning in education. And I'm sure it is always applicable everywhere you go.
IAB nak try, nak masuk jadi MIE, masuk MIE punya nomination, because for become an MIE, or get the MIE expert punya status or certification, we only run it only once a year. So meaning that kalau certified MIE tu anytime. So you complete 2 hours of the online courses and you can get the certified MIE. But to become an MIE expert, right, you have to submit nomination. So kena ada artifacts, yeah. So it doesn't matter, even though maybe IAP community doesn't do teaching, right, on a daily basis, but if you have any other projects that you're maybe indirectly involved, you can still participate. So it's open once a year daripada 6 May until this year is closing on the 16th of July. So during that time, whoever that nominate themselves, it's self-nomination, yeah, they can submit, and then kalau kata submit and then rasa macam, I nak tambah lagi lah, ataupun I nak improvise sikit I punya submission, they can still do that, because until the end of the closing date, which is on the 16th of July. So anybody, so we have lecturers from public universities who actually submitted their nomination. They wanted to become the MIE expert. So, and because they meet all the criteria, we cannot turn them down, right? So we just say, okay, thank you for your nominations, and you meet the criteria, you can also become an MIE expert. So Microsoft, actually worldwide, especially Microsoft Education team in Corp, right? They really, really celebrate everyone who becomes an MIE expert. So it's not once in a lifetime. So you can do your nomination every year. We even have so far teachers who have been nominating themselves. Tahun ni jadi, because we follow the cohort. 3 tahun lepas dia dah jadi MIE expert. Lepas tu dia submit lagi. Then the second cohort tu dia dapat lagi. Then the third cohort dapat lagi. As long as you have something that you want to share and artifacts based on your own engagement with students or with other teachers, you can actually orang kata qualify to submit your nomination. We even have teachers that was guided by another MIE expert, but they are actually pre-service, belum lagi interviews, but pre-service, who also actually were very excited to actually submit their nominations. So we really encourage everyone, especially Malaysia. The numbers have been growing on a yearly basis. Thank you for the support.
Thank you, Kak Shida. So just to add, just a nice study here, your study, Kak Shida, we have a total of 217 MIEs in the current cohort untuk 2020 hingga 2021. Dan for MOE alone, and this is including the teachers and also other PPD officers as well, right? 132 from MOE and 6 from MOHD, KPT, and 49 from MARA and 30 from private. So usually memang participation from MOE is the majority. So the previous way of for the team field to filter the nomination was manually, right? Individual to do that. But now for the new nomination, Microsoft akan guna machine learning to filter the scores. Yeah, SK. I have the story of SKTBI. I save it for the best. Best one. Okay, so just to share with you quickly, what are some of the perks of joining the MI experts, right? So we have a huge community. Of course, this is worldwide, right? So there is a dedicated Facebook group, and I've seen that teachers, even our teachers, dia ada event sendiri, dia akan share dekat Facebook group, dan it will become an international event that other school teachers will also join. And this is also a good opportunity for school leaders if you want to have that international collaboration. And this is the Facebook page, and this private is only for MIEEs. And for Malaysia team, we also have our own team, MIE Experts Malaysia, and we do have a monthly call with our MIEEs, right? And during this monthly call, kita akan invite cikgu-cikgu ataupun our MIEEs to share about how they have used Microsoft tool or any innovation, any event, right? And because we are like one family, and they personally told me that they look forward to this meeting, right? Because even there are other MIEEs from other countries that wanted to join our session, but unfortunately it's only for Malaysia, right? And even for Microsoft, if we have any program that we want to offer throughout April or May, we would leverage on this call, and kita akan bagi first-hand announcement to the MIE, right? And this was joined by Puan Mazna as well, right? The virtual bootcamp where we invited Faizal Tahir to brief the MIEEs on the Tech for Good challenge, where they had to participate as a prelude activity towards digital education exchange. So I will share about that. It's because Microsoft has a lot of fascinating activities for MIE and also for showcase school leaders, right? And this is the annual event, another premier program to celebrate our teachers, our MIEEs, and our showcase school leaders. So previously, it was done in person, right? Some of our teachers went to Paris and Canada, Singapore, and Budapest, yes. And a batch was supposed to go to Sydney, but then the MCO came, right? So, but this year it was held digitally, and for the first time, Microsoft Corp did this itu secara besar-besaran, right? Dan invite semua, bukan educators sahaja, but everybody who wanted to know about itu, who wanted to learn more about itu, could actually join. And it was a fantastic achievement by Microsoft because the participation was huge, and it was a very proud moment for Microsoft Malaysia and also for Malaysia because one of our MIEEs, Puan Siti Nabila, who is now in IPGM, she delivered the webinar in E2 on accessibility tools to support diverse learners. And we were announced with another amazing news. Remember the Tech for Good challenge? Yes, to invite Puan Mazna dengan Faizal Tahir. So one of our teachers, MIE, Kamariah daripada SK Gong Balai won that challenge, right? As a critic in the category of creative communicator. So these are just some of the things to share with the school leaders, right? And a majority of our MIEs are teachers, but we hope that, in the next cohort, we can have more school leaders as well to join us in these activities and programs. Right. So next, the program that right. So this is still under certification program. So just to let you know, right, that our Microsoft Global Training Partner, Show, is currently building a certification program, and details will come in soon once we launch it with Dr. Shukri, inshallah. Right. And this is the ETF, right? The next program that we want to offer to school leaders. So this is a digital transformation program. It's a holistic approach where it covers, the transformation journey from the school, from the leaders, from the vision, from the change management, right? From it also may cover, the devices and the technology that is being used and the assessment, right? The learning environment, whether it's in person or a virtual environment, right? And it is also a guide for you where you can refer to best practices worldwide, right? Not just in Asia, but around the world. And as mentioned by Kak Shida, this ETF framework, this book here, is grounded in research, right? By, to come up with this solid framework for the transformation journey. And I believe that, if, let's say, this is something that IAB is really, really interested to have a deep dive in, we can definitely, give you the resources, or we can also offer some sharing sessions dedicated for IAB.
Book, but I don't think it's, maybe you have done comparison, it's not as expensive as the book then? I'll print it.
So there are 4 pillars in the ETF, right? So this is an overview, then. It talks about, the first pillar talks about leadership and policy, right? So definitely this is for the system leaders, school leaders, the school admin. So in order to transform, first you need a vision for change. And I'll give you an example from SK Taman Pindah, how it happened, because they applied ETF from the beginning, since they were offered school. The principal, right, Encik Razlan, created a think tank team, right, to discuss what are the changes that are going to be made moving forward. So it is also a program for you to have that strategic planning, right, whether it's an ongoing planning or it's on an annual basis to observe the changes, right? And change management, whether, it is from face-to-face to virtual, or it is, using a platform in your school, right? A school may not have the LMS at first, but then they can explore Microsoft Teams, just like SK Taman Pindah, to be a part of the school management system. And it is a continuous improvement in the learning culture, in the education culture as well, right? Because it is also a change where you involve stakeholders, right? Community, because when you want to embark on this journey, of course, you need approval, right? And also you need the support, right? The support from parents. They need to understand why this change is important for their students. Okay? So partnerships also play along, and for your information, for you to undergo the ETF and also the Showcase School program, we offer you to work closely with our global training partners, where they are experts in ETF and showcase tools, where they can guide you. And even currently, one of our partners are closely guiding for schools to graduate a showcase school and applying the ETF. And then the second pillar talks about the intelligent environments, right? So when we talk about the environment, whether it's a face-to-face environment, in person or virtual environment, we want the students, we want the teachers, we want everybody in the school to feel safe and secure, right? Especially in the online world. And when we talk about security, right, all of the student information and all those things is very important. And this is also where you can apply the hybrid learning and the remote learning for easy access, right? And the third one is student and school success. This is the third pillar, right? So this one focuses on a lot on the future ready skills for the students, right? How you want the students to work on Minecraft and build that skill, and also touches on the social emotional learning, especially during the pandemic, how the students were struggling, but with the ETF, they would provide sufficient examples for you to work on.
Adding to that, basically, as you know, Microsoft, we're repeating the access inclusion, the PT inclusion, and tadi ada file untuk gambar Siti Nabila kan, right? So actually she was a teacher for special needs students, right? Special needs students, and she's been applying, using a lot of Microsoft accessibility, right, to assist and support the kind of students, the special needs students. So that is something that we're very proud of when we talk about equity, especially especially during the pandemic. So those students must not be left behind, right? So using all of the tools within Office 365, and thanks to the email, we were able to actually make sure that those students are not, can keep up and also be of the same ability with the rest of the students, right?
Thanks, Ashida. And then moving forward to the fourth pillar, which is the teaching and learning. So this is where the school decides, how do I make it student-centered learning for my students? How do I curate my lessons to make it more student-centric? How do I curate the content and assessment to make it easier and also feasible for all of my students, right? Whether it's formative or summative assessment, it should be an ongoing process with improvement. So one example from SK Taman Bukit Indah, because they were prepared before the pandemic using these online tools, understanding technology in the 21st century learning. When the pandemic hit us, they were already prepared with it, right? They even managed to conduct online exams, and it was 80% successful, right? The remaining was the challenges by students who did not have access and so on. All right. So these are some of the supporting resources, but inshallah, I will share it with Dr. Shukri. And a little bit on Showcase School Program, another premier program for school leaders to participate in. And in fact, when we highlight on school leader, memang nak nominate a school tu, Microsoft really encourages it's the school leader yang apply, so that they know what's going on. They know what they're in for, right? They know what to expect, right? They know the rubric and so on. So just to share with you a little bit, this Showcase School program is an opportunity for schools to engage with other school leaders, right? For PLC, and also how Microsoft can support the school in terms of transformation. It all ties back to the ETF, right? And now the process is, in order to become a showcase school, whether you are a new school or an operational school, you apply and become an incubator school first. once you meet the criteria, so these are the criteria, and there's also a rubric, right? Then you
And
can
rubric too, we develop it together with the guidance of other teachers and other schools who are actually they've been groomed to become a showcase school. Tapi dia kata ada challenges sebab dia tak tahu where to start ataupun if they face a blocker, how do they actually remove those blockers. So we get their input and we localize it. So ini orang kata garis panduan untuk yang boleh dipraktikkan di Malaysia sebab kita dah berbincang dengan BSTP and to come up with.
So this is just to share with you the criteria, and we received some questions. What if I am not on Office 365 yet, right? Or what if I have not started, but I'm at number 4, for example, right? I have that. Is it okay? Yes, it's fine, right? As long as you have that vision to transform towards becoming a showcase school, you can already apply. Because to apply as incubator school, it can happen anytime during the whole year. But to graduate as a showcase school is only twice a year, which is February and September. Right. Okay, so you will receive support, of course, from Microsoft, and for this showcase school program, especially in APAC, right? They have dedicated partners to work with the schools, right? So the schools will not feel like they are alone in this journey, inshallah. And of course, product support and things like that. And showcase school recognition, once again, one of our best example is SK Taman Bukit Indah, right? And it's been featured on social media, profile on Microsoft website, and even through this, I would say, recognition and marketing for the school has helped, to grow that school even better, because even other countries are reaching out to SK Taman Bukit Indah to collaborate and work with them and invite the teachers to speak at their session. So I'll be quick on this, right? There is a community, same like MI Expert, there's a monthly call. For Showcase School community, there is a community call every month that incubator and Showcase School leaders can participate, and it's hosted by the program manager itself, herself, Dina Gobashi from Microsoft Corporation, right? So this recently, last week, was the April call, and all of our incubator schools from MOE and Showcase schools joined the session. And this is the transformation part, as I mentioned, the Showcase incubator application, and what's your plan, the strategy, referring to the rubric, meeting the criteria, and inshallah, you can your school will be able to graduate as a showcase school. Right? So I think throughout the presentation, I've incorporated some of the examples of SK Taman Bukit Indah. So I will skip this part, and just to share with you again, if you I'm sure everybody has heard the news. SK Taman Bukit Indah has won the biggest impact school of the year 2019-2020, and this was announced during the Showcase School Summit. And this is Cikgu Fazli, the penggerak utama SK Taman Bukit Indah, right? And these are some of the perks of being SK Showcase School, right? So they even made it to the news, right? As we've seen in multiple platforms. And when I had a talk with Cikgu Fazli yesterday, they really, really meet all of the criteria, and they really, really apply the ETF. And I think that if, let's say, IAB would like to hear from SKTPI themselves, it would be a great opportunity for them to share their experiences with all of you. Yeah, yep. Rasman. Okay, and as mentioned, they didn't have a platform before. They were one of the best frog user, SKTBI, and they shifted to Microsoft Teams. And they have used this for all purposes, admin and lessons, right? And everything has been systematic, even during the pandemic. So just to share with you a list of the incubator schools that we have in Malaysia: SK Datuk Wan Kemara, SK Sri Broleh, SK Rengit, SM Science Sri Putri, SK Tiara Permai, Sri Perling, SK Sungai Duri, SMK Bukit Batu, and SK Complex Seberang Takik. And for, yeah. Yeah. And this is the showcase school, nicely designed by Ija, thank you. So we have 5 showcase schools, SMK Kuala Perlis, SMK Kubang Kerian, SK Taman Bukit Indah, SK Bandar Hilir, and SK Taman Senangan. And one of the SSTP in Perlis is one of our MI experts as well, Cikgu Julie, and she is committed to transform all of the schools in Perlis to become showcase schools, inshallah. SSTP, yes. Yeah. Inshallah. So this is the final offer for today, inshallah. So we do work closely with global training partners. We have Content Capital, specializes in Office 365 and also ETF, right? Dr. Asma and Zul. And also we have Crafty Minds, who specializes in Minecraft, right? And also Pedalist and other partners. So if any time, right, IAB or even BSTP would like to have a sharing session on ETF, modern classroom, Office 365, future ready skills to learn more about the certification and Minecraft, which we are speaking to MOE BPK about it as well. So we can offer training programs, sharing sessions by our global training partners to IAB and also to MOE, of course. So once again, a recap. These are the offers that we would like to, the programs that we would like to offer to IAB, right? The school leaders in MOE. And with that, Ramadan Kareem from Microsoft Education Team. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Sekejap saya check ya. Tak ada soalan. Tak ada soalan.
Thank you.
Okay, no question. Thank you so much for the presentation from Microsoft team. Next in the agenda is group from Apple, if you're here. Okay, thank you so much. Encik Satis Narayanan, Wan Nuraini Wan Daud, and Encik Shahrin Harun. Thank you. Ucapan selamat datang kepada Encik Lam Hin Chong, okay, representative dari Google. Dia kena bukan.
Berarti ini aja.
Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang mengikuti program bengkel pagi ini secara online, kita akan cut off daripada Google Meet dan boleh, tapi bengkel ni akan terus berjalan dan boleh ditonton dan disertai dari link YouTube. Terima kasih. Terima kasih diucapkan kepada tim Microsoft untuk presentation tadi. Terima kasih. Selamat jalan. Puan Syida sebagai Education Director untuk naik ke pentas. Terima kasih diucapkan. Satu je. Okay, right. Wakil kepada tim Microsoft. Terima kasih diucapkan sekali lagi. Terima kasih juga Datuk. Terima kasih. Okay, Team Apple, ready when you are.
Hello.
Dia ada sound tak?
Sound.
Sound, kabel dia. Kabel sound.
Terima kasih Yang Berusaha Puan Maznah binti Abu Bakar, pengarah BSTP.
Hai, boleh.
Okay, right. Seterusnya pembentangan dari Apple Team, Encik Satis Narayanan, Puan Wan Nuraini Wan Daud dan Encik Syarin Harun. Dipersilakan.
Terima kasih. A very good morning. My name is Satish. So sorry, the slide looks a little bit out of the screen, but I think should be okay. So I'm the system engineer dekat Apple Malaysia. My role is to focus on two important markets untuk Apple, is education and enterprise. So pagi ni, let me just go straight forward to talk about what Apple thinks in education, our future, and the vision that we have to propel education using technology. So kalau ikut for Apple in education, kita dah almost 40 years we are in this education segment. 40 tahun ini is equivalent to when the company started. As you know, the company started using Macintosh. Our late CEO, Steve, masa itu is very passionate into education. That's why we wanted to transform classroom using the Mac. Tetapi kan, if you look at almost 11 years ago, we introduced this device called iPad. When iPad was introduced, immediately the first user group that uses this technology was actually schools, teachers, and also students. Because immediately the name classroom became a class without a room. Sebab technology was able to take out learning from everywhere. But I just want to point into one particular statement dekat slides ni, the statement of kat bawah tu. How do we prepare the kids for tomorrow? I think that's the whole idea yang kita ada, we are here today for this meeting, right? It's about preparing our kids for tomorrow using the technology of today. So, let's look at today's world. Let's be realistic, yes? Whatever we're trying to explain here is about knowing what's going on today and preparing for tomorrow. If you look at today's world, I think every one of us sekarang ni, we have a smartphone, we have a tablet, we have a computer, we even have a smartwatch in our wrist. That's the world that we're living in today, right? And that's the world that the kids also inspire to have. But if you look at the workplace, where almost 50% of my job today in the workplace is actually changing from medical industry to the airlines, to manufacturing, to the sales guy. Everybody is in technology in the world today, and technology is just improving the way that we work. Dulu kan, we used to have a computer in our desk, 9 to 5 job. But today, we're no longer talking about 9 to 5 job. We're talking about working anywhere using technology. Talking about 9 to 5 job. This is during I think my grandfather's years, right? Industrial age. The work was going to the factory, you go back. That's it. And then came the revolution of computers industry, right? The information age. This particular age, we were talking about data entry. Computers was in the office, he has to go back and pump in data, and that's it. There was no analytics, there was no machine learnings, there was no VR and AR. Everything was just one-way traffic. Tetapi today, it's a people age. You and me is what we are right now here. What we mean by that? Now, I want to drive your attention towards the skill in demand that was anticipated by the World Economic Forum way back in 2018. Apologize, you can't see the slide down there, but the World Economic Forum in 2018 anticipated in 2022, these are the skills in demand. Now let me point three particular skills here. Maybe there's too many to think about. The first is critical thinking, complex problem solving, emotional intelligence. If you look at all these skills that are displayed in this slide here, you know what roles is going to be created in the future? A role that you and me even don't know exists. This is it. These are some of the roles, not Apple was saying, but these were some of the ones that derived from the World Economic Forum, anticipating what roles might appear 2022, which is like 1 year ahead from us. Now, if you look at this jobs role, can you identify there's a job role called Chief Listening Officer? Who would have thought that kind of role existed? I mean, it's really a funny role, right? What do you do? Chief Listening Officer. But essentially what happens here is someone is listening to the voices of external of the company and internal of the company and doing deciding factors. So, the key question here is, what does this got to do with learning? Now, job market is requiring these 4 important pillars right now in the job market. They want the employees to be more than ever connected. They want it to be collaborative. They want it to be creative. And of course, work has to be personal. So let's look at how are we going to prepare this for our kids today. Now, 4 elements here: connected, collaborative, creative, and personal. Now, if we look at connected, I think this is a bit resonating all of us here today due to the pandemic. We are more connected than ever. If you realize that, we are more connected than ever. Now, if you look at in the context of learning, it's not about, there's a saying, right? If you have internet, you have education. That's fairly true. If you have internet today, you can actually get educated without even going to school. But the key question is, how do you get quality contents of education? That's what we're trying to achieve here, right? It's not about Googling or even getting something from YouTube or getting something from the internet. It's about how do we get the right contents to our kids using technology. The second piece here is collaborative. In Apple, we have this very famous word internally which says, inclusion inspires innovation, which means when we include everyone in the team, we get great ideas. So that's why collaborative is more than important for our kids. And technology just bridges the gap, as you know today what's happening, right? And then creativity is one of the most key fundamental that we need to prepare our kids today. As I mentioned earlier on, you can get all kind of contents from the internet, but how to be creative? I think to an extent, jokes aside, I think all of us were creative in our school days because we didn't have technology, we only had library, but we found our ways to come out from the college and universities and stuff like that. We were creative in our ways to get our contents. But today, information is just everywhere. But the key question, how do we make our kids more creative? That's the key. That's the thing that we need to answer ourselves. And the last part here is personal. Every kids are different. Every teachers are different. They have their own personal way of learning things. And fortunately, technology is there to make it more personalized for every kids, and also every teachers out there. So the next chapter here, I'm going to pass to Puan Noraini, she's going to take a look at how Apple is actually preparing in this game changer of education. The key question I'm going to leave thoughts with you is, what's your school's future of what's your school's vision of for the future, and how technology is going to get there? And Puan Noraini.
Thank you, Satish. Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good morning to all. Saya perkenalkan diri saya dulu lah. My name is Puan Noraini. I used to be a teacher in boarding schools. Alhamdulillah, my journey is always about believing that the future is never without technology. That's how I started during the smart school. And true enough, since what they call it 1997, 98, I was just talking to Haji just now, that that's the beginning. That's I believe that Malaysia have done, orang kata a start compared to other countries in the world. But nevertheless, where are we after, 20 years? Are we there? Do we achieve what the blueprint has set? Or no one's looking back at those smart school blueprint, which is still very, very relevant until today. So these are some of the questions that we should look back and think about. Jadi kalau kita lihat balik when we talk about leadership, because bila kita datang ke sini, leaders are so important. Whether we like it or not, kalau a leader of a house, itu ialah kita punya diri kita nakhoda rumah kita. What do you want our house to be? What do we want our family? What do we want our children to be? We are the one who decide on that. So similarly here, as a leader of the school, at the end of the day, what is it that kita nak? Like as what Satesh mentioned just now, the journey of to become the future of our children, saya baru bercakap dengan Dr. Wage, it become an essential, keperluan. It's no more, yes, nice to have. It's no more, 21st century learning without technology is okay. That is not true at all. So, sama ada kita suka atau kita tak suka, we need to move. We need to change. We need to make a difference. Change is very, very, orang kata, in need now. Kalau tidak, kita akan tinggal ke belakang. So, I was with a lot of groups of educators, be it lecturers. They talk a lot about our education system. But we cannot just talking. We must do something. So that's why we are working closely with Dr. Wage to want to make it happen, and we hope the rest of the leaderships of the, what they call it, especially IAB is a center where you drive leaders. So we hope that we can also make an impact towards the leadership of schools around the country, inshallah. So with us here, when I put here leadership at Apple, when it comes to education, we found that the most innovative schools in the world evaluate and improve their practices while paying close attention to the world their student will graduate into. Ini apa yang our observation, because as what Satesh mentioned, we have been involved in education for the past 40 years. Bukan setakat di Malaysia, is the whole world, ya. Jadi the data that they gather is that innovative schools is something yang really took care of the orang kata how to evaluate and improve practices. Jadi dia tak boleh business as usual. Budak masuk kelas, belajar, bagi je information, tunggu exam, jawab soalan, habis. So it's not going to be like that, yeah. Because kita kena prepare our children, yeah. And then innovate, not for the sake of innovation, but the vision to build relevant and inspiring teaching and learning communities. Kalau kita dengar ayat ni sendiri, ya, it's not for the sake of innovation, but with vision. Ya, itu adalah vision yang kita talk about. At Apple, kita ada resources yang available for free. If you have an iPhone, you have an iPad, you have a Mac, you're welcome to download this for free dekat kita punya book. So kalau kita lihat di sini, what I took here, the way I put here down there, when leaders connect the potential of technology with the vision for their school, they expand what's possible for learning. Dia membuka peluang lagi, ya. Bukan hanya setakat pergi ngajar kat depan, that's it. So what else can we do with technology? So I'm going to share some examples sekejap lagi, ya. Di dalam buku tu, dia ada mention about elements of leadership. What is it? The elements yang perlu orang kata a leadership should look at. We talk about developing strategies for vision. We talk about culture. Kalau tak ada budaya, dia tak jadi. So apa budaya sekolah kita? Can we ask ourselves, what is our budaya now? Our budaya kat sekolah, pelajar masuk kelas, cikgu masuk kelas, cikgu bercakap kat depan, and then budak ambil exam. That is the budaya. It has become a culture. Sebab we continuously doing that. So what we are looking here is that kita kena bangunkan budaya tu sendiri. So our budaya tu akan membawa kepada perubahan, ya. Budaya itulah akan
Hello.
Okay, budaya. Hello. budaya itulah yang membawa kepada perubahan. Jadi sama ada kita nak corak budaya kita bergantung kepada diri kita sendiri, bergantung kepada the leaders itself. Change need to happen kalau kita continues doing that for many years. Jadi kalau kata guru baru yang masuk ke sekolah, dia akan terikut dengan budaya sekolah yang ada. So ini yang kita nak tengok, adakah budaya itu membawa kepada kelebihan kepada pelajar atau budaya itu membawa kepada pelajar kita back to the normal way of learning. The capacity, siapa tim kita, kemampuan kita, the community, kewangan kita, and macam mana kita mengukur, how do we measure. These are so important, is the work of leaders. Suka tak suka leaders is not just about, hey, come to school, okay, I'm the principal of the school, but they have to look into this. These are their biggest responsibility. So kalau keluar tengok pelajar, tengok cikgu, fikirkan dalam kepala, is this the budaya yang kita nak? Is this the culture? Is this the vision kita? So a clear vision needs to be there, and whatever it is at this situation, change need to happen. So saya ambil sedikit snapshot. So kalau kita tengok ni, the guiding question, have you articulated your vision for learning, teaching and your school environment? Have you? So kita kena tanya as a leader, have you identified aspect of your culture that will help you move forward? Yeah? Have you identified your community capacity for change and the available resources? Kena detail, kena identify. These some of the gaps yang mungkin kita ada or kita dah ada extra. So what can we do with that? Do we have more strength? Have you assembled a strategic team? Di sekolah dia banyak, dia ada ketua bidang, sekarang ni ketua jabatan, ketua panitia dan sebagainya. Are they strategic? Kena fikir dalam. Are they strategic enough? Or in terms of innovators, influencers to plan, implement, evangelize the work. Have you created a plan to engage your immediate and extended community? Semua kita tahu di sekolah kita ada PIBG, kita ada banyak community yang kita boleh involve and be part of it. Yeah? But how do we engage that? Have you built a finance plan that's stable and sustainable? Have you identified the key goals that align with your vision? So you can measure. Sebab apabila kita buat sesuatu, kita tak boleh je status quo kita, iaitu measure kita, periksa je. Lepas periksa, dapat result, that is our measures. So moving forward, we need to look at the bigger picture. Yeah? This framework, when for Apple, this is how we manage in terms of measuring orang kata the success of the school. What I use this is especially on our Apple Distinguished School, kita nak tengok ke mana pergi sekolah tu. Adakah dia ada shared leadership? Dia ada individual leadership at what level? Dah established belum? Dah distinguished belum? Exemplary. Exemplary tu orang boleh tengok. Kalau dia kata distinguished tu memang is the best. We talk about community engagement. What do? We talk about students learning. Macam mana bentuk students learning? Instructional practices. Bagaimana bentuk curriculum design kita? Bagaimana adakah kita punya professional development itu timely, relevant? Yang selalu kurang, nampaklah tu, research practices. This is one example yang saya ambil data daripada one of the schools. Research practices almost zero. Padahal research practices ni is how kita do work so that kita tengok macam mana kita nak improve. Simple, action based, orang kata action research pun sekejap aja. Bukannya susah, it's not like kita buat research kat university where you need to have orang kata research methodology yang gila-gila. So, school design and facility, do we have the right design of the school? Kita sedia tak learning spaces? Learning spaces ni bukan necessarily satu bilik. Learning spaces could be everywhere with the technology now. So how does learning spaces look like? Yang inviting and students love to be there and make innovation, be creative about what they're doing. Of course, the IT infrastructure. So these are so important. So I'm going to share with you on students learning. Kalau lihat ni, this is example of the schools that we work with and also our Apple Disungi School. Kalau kita nampak the students still doing, bila kita kata teknologi bukan bermaksud dia tak buat hands on Dia masih lagi buat hands on, dia buat lagi eksperimen. Tapi what sort of technology for? Teknologi itu adalah untuk capturing data, record all the work that they're doing and put it up. Then nak masukkan di dalam sistem, kalau nak masukkan dalam learning management system, it's up to the student or the teachers punya planning. So I'm going to share with you some of the work of students. Sebab kalau kita cakap tanpa menunjukkan work student, kita rasa bercakap kosong lah. So I'm going to show you some work. Bila kita kata the students learning ni, saya akan menunjukkan hasil kerja pelajar yang kita kata what kind of learning that we want the students to have, Okay. This is done by students yang memang day in day out dia menggunakan our technology. Right. Apa yang kita lihat di sini ialah hasil kerja pelajar yang kita bawa design thinking. It's a STEM project di mana pelajar bawa kepada konteks design thinking. Apple bila dia pelajar guna device bukan hanya we come with solution. We don't come, okay, you dapat iPad, pandai-pandai kau lah. No, we don't do that. We support, and at the end of the day, we want them to use technology itu in the right way, especially for learning. So kalau kita lihat di sini, ini adalah orang kata issue of agriculture land. Kalau kita tengok macam mana the pelajar come up with dia punya problem statement, identifying what are the issues. This kalau kita lihat juga macam mana pelajar-pelajar ni cuba identify dia punya data, then they start planning what are the possible solution that they can solve in this situation. So kita lihat what is the best method for urban farming, and they start building the what they call it the whole process of the solution. I think I ambil buku satu lagi. Drone inspection dia banyak di sini kalau nak tengok hasil kerja pelajar ni macam mana dia bawa daripada penggunaan. All this is done on iPad bukannya dia buat di any other devices dan dia menghasilkan buku ni so kalau kita lihat macam mana dia punya konteks drone geometry, hasil kerja pelajar ni is so immense. So kalau kita lihat di sini dalam konteks kita nampak ada animation. Macam mana dia hasilkan animation ni? Semua dihasilkan di iPad bukannya dia ambil daripada YouTube. We don't believe when the students go into online and orang kata download copyrighted materials. At Apple, kita make sure dia pastikan kalau dia ambil material tu, dia mesti orang kata acknowledge di mana materials tu diambil. Jangan sekali-kali kalau kita lihat mereka masuk pertandingan, dia ambil copy paste merata-rata jadi dia punya bahan. Because at the end of the day, kita bukan mengajar mereka berfikir, tetapi kita mengajar mereka create, iaitu the highest level of Bloom's taxonomy, tetapi kita mengajar mereka mencari bahan dan tampal-tampal. So kadang-kadang ini yang kita lupa, bahawa teknologi can be harmful kalau kita tak bawa dia dengan a proper development. Baik, saya masuk balik ke keynote ni. Jadi di sini, I think I go here. Jadi dengan teknologi tadi, kita bawa daripada aspek critical thinking, kita bawa daripada aspek design thinking, bukan hanya di aspek ambil exam sahaja. Okay, I'm gonna play this. I hope volume dia ada. Tak ada volume Sekejap ya. Okay, I'm going to share this. Apa yang dapat kita lihat di sini, ini adalah hasil kerja pelajar hanya dengan menggunakan iPad. Dia tak guna benda lain, dia tak guna segala ni. Tapi apa yang dihasilkan di sini ialah pelajar itu berlakon di depan kain hijau. I wouldn't say green screen pun, kain-kain yang beli kat kedai warna hijau. And dekat belakang animation was done on Keynote yang saya tengah present ni. So budak akan be more creative. Kalau instead of dia belajar bahasa Inggeris hanya tengok kertas, now they can do lakonan untuk bahasa Inggeris, bahasa Melayu. So they can be more creative in presenting dia punya ideas rather than the technology hanya setakat untuk mencari bahan ya. So this the kind of things yang kita nak ubah supaya learning is different, learning is transformative, learning is innovative. Ini adalah hasil kerja pelajar juga. Imagine the student compose music. What would the future look like for dia? Dia can be creative. Bukan lagi dia orang buat dia musik dengan orang punya download music orang. Tetapi it's done on GarageBand, on iPad. I think over half an hour. Salah saya di Sekolah Alam Shah. Ya, Sekolah Alam Shah itu one. Siapa tahu lagu ni lagu apa? Dia orang muda je tahu biasanya. Tahu tak dari mana-mana musik ni? This is Avengers ya. Budak-budak ni, imagine ya. Kalau kita tengok equipment yang ada dekat situ, peralatan is very expensive for school to have. But with the technology, dia tak perlu lagi worry about buying the peralatan, tetapi dia hanya perlu guna on a device. There is no need for the schools to purchase. Without fail, kita bercakap juga pasal coding. Because pada kita, that is the future skill. Every students need to understand what is computational thinking. Kalau dia tak pandai code pun, kita tak expect 100% student know how to code. But faham macam mana yang dikatakan computational thinking. Sebab at the end of the day, itu yang akan membawa the future of learning for Malaysia. Baik, I'm going to touch a little bit about teachers. What kind of innovative teachers can come up with? Ini adalah hasil kerja guru yang dia guna iPad untuk menghasilkan bahan.
When temperature increase, the molecules will gain higher kinetic energy and will collide more frequently with the wall of the cooker and on the food.
And then tidak clear, tak ada animation. Because budak ni different. They are visual learners, kinesthetic learners. Jadi kalau hasil
this will increase the pressure on the food. Hence,
senang
the
sekolah
food will
because
get
fundamental
cooked
content dah diberikan kepada pelajar. Apa yang cikgu buat dalam kelas kalau bahan ni dah bagi kepada pelajar? Ialah kita bawa kepada deep thinking. Jadi kalau kita lihat ni, orang kata how did they do this? They do it 100% on iPad. Original, tak ada copyright, everything is done by saya balik semula kepada measurement tadi. Kalau kita lihat di sini, ini adalah the current state. Ini adalah current state. Kita ambil status of the school for the first time. And then lepas tu kita evaluate lagi. Ada tak improvement dia? Jadi daripada evaluation tu barulah kita nampak sama ada school tu have improved or make a difference daripada every aspect dia. Ada dah dia buat research practices. Data ni saya ambil daripada sekolah yang saya engage with, tetapi saya tidak letak nama sekolah because it is orang kata privacy. Tapi hasil kerja yang kita lihat di sini adalah evaluation 1, evaluation 2 berdasarkan kriteria yang kita letak. Jadi saya masuk kepada sekolah-sekolah yang menggunakan iPad. Orang akan cakap, oh dia orang ni guna iPad, sekolah-sekolah yang cemerlang. Sebabnya jangan salah faham ya. Sekolah contohnya sekolah di depan IB ni TKC Sedar, ini adalah projek yang ditetapkan oleh minister. Kita tak boleh simply ambil sebab it's a one-to-one device ya. Bila kita kata one-to-one device ni, dulu tak ada polisi membenarkan. Hanya bila ada polisi sekarang dan kita dah boleh masuk. MRSM juga jauh lebih pantas. Banyak sekolah-sekolah MRSM dah start moving with us. Dan of course international school, most of the international schools are using iPad. And sekolah-sekolah agama kalau kita lihat sekolah-sekolah agama memang jauh lebih advance banding dengan sekolah-sekolah biasa Ini adalah mereka juga menunggu polisi daripada kerajaan di mana mereka boleh, sekolah-sekolah biasa ni boleh menggunakan device di sekolah-sekolah. Tanpa polisi kita tak boleh masuk kecuali diberi kebenaran. So sekolah Kementerian Pelajaran ini berdasarkan kepada kebenaran yang diberi oleh Kementerian Pelajaran. Ya, sebab itu orang nampak sikit je, it's not because sikit. Itu je yang dibenarkan dulu buat sementara ini sebab polisi untuk memastikan setiap student ada device tu belum ada lagi. So MRSM, alhamdulillah dia orang punya polisi sendiri, they are faster. Apple Distinguished School. So bila kita sebut Apple Distinguished School, ini adalah world recognition Kalau kita lihat di sini di dunia, kita ada 535 Apple Distinguished School. 535 Apple Distinguished School dan 7 daripada Malaysia. It's a very strict, orang kata dia punya measurement seperti yang saya tunjuk dalam web tadi. Jadi yang saya sangat happy and bangga ialah daripada 7 ni, 3 adalah daripada sistem apa orang kata daripada kurikulum Kementerian Pelajaran. Ya, 3. Yang 4 tu dari international school. Kalau kita tengok balik blueprint kita, kita kata kita nak sama standard dengan international school. International school bukan memang banyak tetapi dia pun bukan semua boleh dapat Apple Distinguished School. Bukannya beli iPad you boleh dapat. You can't. Of course we have a lot of measurement. Alhamdulillah 3 school ni adalah antara yang terbaik lah. Baik, jadi saya akan tunjuk sedikit mengenai Apple Distinguished School TKC I hope sound ada.
Education is just as fast as technology, and especially in also share news and extra information that we have. Augmented reality has also assisted us in learning in a 3D spectrum. In preparation classrooms, we also like to receive and also share using the airdrop feature. Since all of us are Muslims, we also like to perform our ibadah with the assistance of applications like Muslim Pro. Later on in the evening, you'll see us at Tunku Arisha Sports Arena, where we are using the stopwatch feature in the iPads to record our sprints, and also figuring out the number one strategy to win using the application Sketches. To ensure quality sleep, we also use the bedtime feature to allow us to have maximum level of rest so that we can be energized for another exciting day of learning. I think it's fair to say that the girls in Tunku Gusha College uses their iPads everywhere and anywhere with hopes of becoming the future female leader. After all, they say di sinilah lahirnya pemimpin harapan agama, bangsa dan negara.
So you can see that how the school is our Apple Distinguished School. Macam mana pelajar-pelajar ni tapi yang the good thing is that they are smart and they go beyond. Tapi yang kita lihat nanti, kita tak nak nanti there is a gap between other school as well jadi ini yang sedang berlaku. Apa yang kita lihat juga sekolah ini merupakan device dia ni parents yang purchase pelajar tu nak masuk ke sekolah tu, dia dah diminta untuk membeli iPad. Dan just to share a little bit about
Assalamualaikum class.
This is the principal
I'm now conducting my learning walk to check on the environment of the classes. See up there? Every little bit hurts, don't be a little bug. Carry a little bag. Drop every little bit. You rasa? Adakah kamu rasa kamu part of PKC? Part of the program? Kan? Yeah, that's how we keep PKC clean.
So jadi kalau kita lihat ini adalah keadaan di sekolah tersebut lah. Ini our Apple Distinguished School. Dan some of the schools kalau kita lihat the support for the students yang tak mampu is supported by some of the dia orang punya alumni. Of course hasil kerja pelajar boleh kata everything in part of the learning dia guna teknologi, almost everything. Tetapi kita make sure they create, bukannya dia orang hanya ambil as a resource material sahaja Say they did it. Dia orang yang buat, dia orang yang hasilkan. Kalau kita lihat art class dia ni, ini adalah pelajar yang hasilkan. Sebab kita nak dia orang develop in all, bukan setakat hanya to be a science student alone, but at the end of the day termasuk semua daripada art, every angle of the development Jadi buku ni sendiri adalah hasil kerja pelajar bukannya hasil kerja cikgu ataupun dipanggil siapa-siapa upah untuk menghasilkan kerja mereka. So kalau kita lihat pelajar-pelajar di TKC ni, not only they are good, they are smart, but at the same time they are advanced. Bukan hanya TKC sekolah Sri Putri pun sama juga. I have parents who come and tell me that my children are way advanced banding dengan cousin-cousin dia. They are very thankful that this happening to their children. Sebab kita nak bawa dia towards learning, bukannya kita nak bawa dia untuk just using the iPad for to enjoy. Jadi kalau kita tak ada engagement, the right support, jadi device pun means nothing. So kita run also what they call it digital citizenship, which is very very key and important. Bukan cyber security. Bila kita sebut digital citizenship is the culture yang kita nak build, macam mana mereka gunakan teknologi in their daily lives. Jadi kalau kita lihat ini adalah macam mana TKC themselves on every aspect of their daily. Ini yang kita, sebab kita tak boleh nak pergi ke sekolah, but I can share some of the things that happening. Of course they have done a lot of surveys and they are looking also in the performance and the results ya, yang diorang dah dapat ya. Baik. Jadi saya tinggal sikit je masa lagi untuk sambung. Jadi apa dia, tadi kita sebut mengenai Apple Distinguished School. What about teachers? Kita di Apple kita panggil Apple Distinguished Educators. Bila sebut Apple Distinguished Educators ni is a world or global punya recognition. Sekarang ni ada 2,500 sahaja di dunia. Saya sebut sahaja sebab untuk dapat ni is not about taking a test. It's not about buat lesson plan. It's not about preparing some what they call it bahan, tetapi the whole journey. Kadang-kadang dia orang nak dapat ni kadang-kadang 2 tahun. Apa yang dia dah buat dari beberapa aspek, being innovative in the classroom. Apakah idea yang dia bawa? Apa yang dia transform? Do they transform community? Do they transform people around them? Jadi benda-benda ni is measured very strictly. Jadi di dunia kita ada 2,500 dan di Malaysia kita ada 26. Orang kata sikitnya. Memang sikit sebab very very tight. Setiap orang yang dapat ni di-evaluate by educators around the world. Bukan Apple yang evaluate Educators around the world yang evaluate them. Dan kalau kita tengok 2019, saya mula join Apple pada hujung 2012. Pada masa tu private dengan public institution tak ada seorang pun lagi. 2013 kita ada seorang daripada private university. Then saya start working with them, develop them, and they are become, dia orang kata really champion. Kalau jumpa dia memang dia orang ni sangat bagus. So ini dah kita dah ada. Yang MRSM ramai. Tak salah saya MRSM ada 1, 2, 4 orang. Ya, MRSM ada 4. UTM ada 3, tetapi for Kementerian Pelajaran, this is the first person. Kementerian Pelajaran, Cikgu Razif daripada MCKK, he's the first person daripada Kementerian Pelajaran dapat Apple Distinguished Educator. Sangat-sangat prestige bila dia orang mendapat recognition ni. It's not a simple thing to get, tapi it's a real journey. Yang saya sangat excited pada 2019 masa evaluation, kalau kita lihat di sini ada 2 daripada international school dan 3 daripada public education. Ya, Dr. Helmi daripada UKM, Razif dan Cikgu Ustaz Syukri daripada MRSM. So bayangkan now, daripada image tu apa yang kita nampak? We are just, even markah mereka, saya dapat tengok evaluation, markah mereka above than the international school teachers. What does it mean? Kita dah go beyond, kita dah mampu menunjukkan the capability of our Malaysian teachers, our kementerian teachers, our public system teachers and educators are just as good and even greater, even compared. Sebab orang selalu cakap, oh must be international school teacher better. But we prove that we can do it even better. But it's all about transforming. It's about change. So that's all daripada kami. Kalau ada apa-apa soalan. Saya juga ada bercakap dengan Tuan Haji tadi, kalau diperlukan contohnya leadership di what they call it DIB, new cohort of they call it new cohort of future leaders yang coming in, you can always invite us and we can always come untuk bagi orang kata more thinking, so that guru-guru ni future leaders ni nampak where they heading.
Puan Rani,
ya saya
nak bertanya, macam mana kita dapat melahirkan ramai dalam pasaran IB ni champion dalam Apple? So adakah ruang dan peluang pihak Apple boleh bantu IB?
Definitely kita boleh bantu. Yang pentingnya mereka nak. Sebab benda ni is about support daripada Apple is very undivided. continuously supporting educators, kita buat. I will bring our resources to support. Tetapi yang penting di sini ialah first we need to change their mindset dulu. Are they ready to make a change? Kalau lecturer-lecturer sini bersedia bersama, insyaAllah kami akan work very hard and transform.
So apakah step pertama tu untuk kami bergerak ke arah tu?
Okay, step pertama, of course, when Apple kalau dia ada dah device, just list out nama lecturer-lecturer yang dah ada device, and termasuk juga kalau yang akan menggunakan device daripada IB. Dan saya akan arrangekan dia punya development plan. Of course, kita akan dia akan boleh dapatkan certificate Apple Teacher. Saya tak letak Apple Teacher tadi sebab Apple Teacher tu ialah global punya recognition. Dia orang dapat certificate nama dia dan where dia come from. Yang itu adalah open to anybody. Kenapa saya tunjuk Apple Distinguished Educator? Dia orang ni sangat-sangat unik. Jadi Apple Distinguished Apple Teacher ni ramai, ada beribu orang. Tetapi Apple Distinguished Educator ni sangat unik. Jadi di dalam saya, kalau kita tengok grup yang saya ada sekarang, lebih daripada 20 lebih yang my consultant, termasuklah Puan Zahara dahulu. What happened Ida, saya sentiasa mengadakan program di Apple supaya mereka datang, tapi they are willing to sacrifice their Saturdays, dia datang untuk join. Tetapi kalau IAB nak buat a clear plan di sini, supaya mereka lebih nampak orang kata supported by the institution, kita boleh sit down and design for that. Sebab setiap institution tu dia punya designing dia berbeza. Ada satu institution tu dia nak center dia menjadi hub untuk content development. Tadi kita nampak cikgu tu hasil bahan ya. So dia nak hub dia content development, dan kita akan train dia punya teachers supaya kita akan certify dia as Apple Learning Leaders nanti, ada certificate, dan dia boleh train jadi center or hub for developing others.
So adakah ini diberi secara percuma ataupun macam mana?
Okey, dia bergantung. Kita boleh beri secara percuma, tetapi when benda tu dah jadi repetitive, mungkin payment for consultant tu bukan, dia tak bayar Apple ya. Apple don't take money from anybody. Kalau ada program, sama ada saya menggunakan budget Apple untuk bayar trainers, ataupun institution bayar direct ke trainers. Contohnya katalah trainers tu Dr. Helmi ya. Dr. Helmi dia bekerja di UKM. So payment tu direct dia. It doesn't come to Apple at all. Jadi kalau saya kata initial engagement dengan IB, saya want to support. Contohnya ada satu institution ni memang saya support untuk content development. So saya akan cari budget saya, and saya yang bayar trainers tu. Jadi there is no payment to Apple for any. Kalau katalah minta saya datang and engage and buat workshop untuk leadership yang datang first cohort, contohlah ada 30 yang akan jadi pengetua, and ask me to run a leadership punya program, saya datang, no money should be paid to me, not honorarium pun. As an Apple staff we cannot take because that is part of our things that we do. Tapi macam balik kepada your question, of course mungkin initially we will support, but continuously tu mungkin kena fikirkan budget daripada training dan sebagainya lah.
Okay, terima kasih Farah ni.
Okay. Ada soalan lagi? Okay, kalau tak ada, then saya ucapkan terima kasih for joining us and being with us. We hope we can do something very impactful to especially the future leaders, and together we'll do it, yeah, insyaAllah.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada tim Apple di atas pembentangan itu tadi. Nampaknya kita tiada soalan di YouTube juga dan tiada di Google Meet. Dipersilakan yang berbahagia Datuk Dr. Haji Kasim, Haji Umar Ibrahim untuk naik ke pentas untuk penyampaian cenderahati kepada tim Apple. Jemput wakil daripada tim Apple, Puan Wan Nuraini, Wan Daud. Terima kasih diucapkan oleh tim Apple sekali lagi. Baik, last but not least, kita ada Encik Lam Hin Chong, okay, representatif dari Google untuk meneruskan presentation kita hari ini. Silakan.
Ada converter USB-C. Ha? USB-C. USB-C lah. Type-C ada. You got ah? Okay, I hope so. Bukan. Dia saya kena Type-C. Type-C ni. Kalau tak apa, I rasa Encik Ana ada. Should be able to lah. Let's see.
See done eh?
Yalah, on the connector. Very still. Slide lah. Slide dengan audio lah.
Oh, slide dengan audio.
Sebab saya pun nak tunjuk video.
Itu dia.
Cuba.
Ini audio. Boleh masuk audio.
Dia boleh masuk.
Sini kan?
I think I rasa dia.
Sini.
Anything sir? Hopefully it will detect.
Okay.
Ada? Ada ke tak? Ada. Cantik. Sekejap, aku nak buka video dulu. Saya test sound dulu.
We're not sure what would happen to us. We did not.
Okay, cantik. Carry on. Okey, salam sejahtera saya ucapkan kepada Tuan Pengerusi Majlis dan kepada pihak IAB yang menjadi tuan rumah untuk program hari inilah. Okey. So, nama saya Encik Victor. So saya daripada Encik Victor Lam lah. Saya daripada pihak Google for Education. Okey. So saya satu orang saja sebab dekat pejabat saya pun memang saya seorang saja. Okey. So sebelum saya bermula kerjaya saya di Google, saya juga merupakan guru DG41 yang berkhidmat di Sarawak. Okay. So lepas berkhidmat di sana, saya pun join Google lah. Okay. So pembentangan saya akan berfokus terhadap macam mana kita sedang adapt dengan perubahan di sekolah. Okay. Terutamanya semasa penutupan sekolah di sepanjang pandemik. Okey. Okey, so sedikit sebanyak tentang sejarah Google. Okey, so mula-mulanya, okey, semua orang kenal Google sebagai satu search company lah, okey, atau untuk buat carian di internet. Okey, so kita bermula di Amerika Syarikat. Tetapi kita sekarang sudah berada di seluruh dunia. Okay, so begitu juga untuk perkhidmatan pendidikan kami juga. Alright, so di seluruh dunia, okay, kita sedang membantu banyak kementerian pendidikan yang lain. Bukan sahaja di Malaysia, tapi di seluruh dunia. Okay. So kita, so the next slide, okay, saya akan tunjukkan bagaimana kita membantu kementerian-kementerian pendidikan di seluruh dunia, okay, dan apa pengajaran utama yang kita dapat, okay, semasa penutupan sekolah, okay, sepanjang tahun lepas dan juga tahun ini.
We were not sure what would happen to us. We did not know what would happen to our pupils and our staff members.
हमें डर था कि बच्चे कहीं पीछे ना रह जाएं।
हेलो।
हम टीचरों को ही कोई नया रास्ता ढूंढना था।
We're going to work out the volume of this spring roll.
Good morning and welcome to our whole school assembly.
Let's get some learning on.
I consist of 95% water.
I am really happy to see so many people. Hi.
Ciao bambini.
El COVID nos ha llevado a innovar, a hacer cosas disruptivas, a hacer cosas diferentes.
Technology can level the playing field for children. It opens up so many avenues that they otherwise would not have been exposed to. It's hope.
I'm so proud of you. Well done.
Okay, so video tadi menunjukkan, okay, bahawa definisi institusi pendidikan atau sekolah, okay, semakin berubah, okay, memandangkan kebanyakan sekolah di seluruh dunia tutup untuk sepanjang tahun, okay, dan trend ini mungkin akan diteruskanlah, okay, untuk beberapa tahun yang akan datang. So kita di pihak Google asyik berfikir apakah masa depan sekolah dan bagaimana kita boleh membantu, okay, bukan saja Kementerian Pendidikan tetapi juga para pendidik dan murid sekali untuk adapt to the new changes lah, okay. So okay, so mungkin tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, okay, sangat familiar dengan Pelantar Delima, okay, yang dilancarkan oleh pihak Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia, okay. So kita melihat banyak negara juga yang mengikut model Delima, okay. So tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, okay, kamu boleh lihat di slide ini, okay, banyak juga negara di Asia Tenggara yang mengikuti contoh Malaysia, okay. So ada negara-negara di sini membuat nationwide deployment lah, okay. Maksudnya, okay, setiap murid dalam sistem persekolahan awam mereka mempunyai ID yang unik, okay. Dan di negara-negara lain kita juga melihat, okay, model Pelantar yang direkakan khas untuk distrik saja, okay, distrik atau mengikut negeri, okay. So antara contoh-contoh tersebut adalah India, Jepun dan Korea Selatan, okay. Dan ada juga yang buat hybrid, okay. Maksudnya, okay, hybrid sekolah sendiri yang mempunyai domain sendiri, okay. So inilah antara contoh-contoh Pelantar yang digunakan oleh negara-negara lain. Okay. Alright, so how it functions is very simple. Okay, so in the case of Delima, okay, Google has worked with the Ministry of Education to provide a single ID. Okay, so on the ID you see as MOE, but in actuality it enables the student to access all the Google applications. Okay, like Google Classroom, Google Meet. And then we are able to track, okay, all this data about how the teaching and learning is taking place, especially during the times of COVID. And from that data, we help ministries all over the world shape their teaching and learning strategy. Okay. Alright, so sebagai rakyat Malaysia, saya sangat-sangat bangga, okay, apabila Malaysia menjadi negara pertama di Asia Tenggara untuk melancarkan pelantar nasional sendiri. Dan ini diikuti oleh negara-negara lain seperti Thailand, Filipina dan juga Indonesia. Banyak kementerian di sini yang merujuk kepada KPM tentang bagaimana pelantar delima boleh dilaksanakan untuk semua murid dan guru dalam sistem persekolahan awam. So yes, delima last year and this year has been able to help a lot of teachers and students. I wouldn't say all, alright, because as we know, banyak juga murid dan guru yang mungkin tidak mempunyai akses yang sepenuhnya kepada internet atau peranti yang sesuai. So within delima, you get to access all these popular applications that teachers and students use. So things like Google Classroom, Google Meet is used frequently by teachers day in, day out to complement their lessons. So maybe let me play this video to show how delima is being used in Malaysia itself.
Delima yang diperkenalkan oleh Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia ni satu inisiatif yang terbaik yang kita miliki pada hari ini untuk kita menggunakan dalam program-program pendidikan di sekolah-sekolah di negara kita lah. Penggunaan ini mudah dan mesra kepada guru-guru dan mesra kepada para pelajar kita lah.
Melalui pelantar delima ini, saya telah menggunakan pembelajaran setiap hari dengan cara memberi kuis, memberi video interaktif kepada pelajar, melalui soalan esei, assignment, dan pembelajaran menjadi lebih menarik, berkesan dan interaktif.
Kita orang hanya menggunakan telefon untuk belajar dan jadi macam mudah.
Pembelajaran secara digital membolehkan saya belajar secara dengan suasana yang lebih kondusif.
Platform delima ni memang sangat membantu murid untuk pembelajaran sendiri dan akses kepada self learning. Kami sangat menggunakan platform tersebut untuk pembangunan pentadbiran sekolah.
Video saya menggunakan aplikasi yang ada dalam delima iaitu Canva. Canva sangat berguna, cikgu-cikgu boleh gunakan Canva untuk membina satu video pelajaran PDPC, senang. So, memang untuk masukkan nota, video semua sangat senang buat Canva. Saya menggunakan Canva, edit video, saya hantar kepada pelajar-pelajar dalam classroom saya.
Lots of students like to play quizzes because it's very animated, it's very fun, and I spend most of the time during MCU play quizzes.
I think delima can help to save time, save papers, and when you sick at home, you can even do the homework in delima.
Saya boleh masuk dalam delima, masuk dalam GC untuk melihat hasil kerja murid. Kita boleh tengok hasil kerja cikgu beri pemarkahan pada murid dan barisan pentadbir boleh tengok satu-satu apa yang murid hasilkan. Dan bagi saya sangat interesting dan sangat bagus.
மேலும் இந்த இணையதளம் ஆசிரியர்களுக்கு ஒரு நல்ல தளமாக அமைந்தது. பலர் இந்த தளத்தை பயன்படுத்தி தங்களுடைய திறமைகளை வெளிப்படுத்துவதற்கும் இது வாய்ப்பாக அமைந்தது.
Apa yang menariknya tentang quizzes, secara visual ni saya dapat ulang balik quiz tu. Cikgu pun dapat data dan dia dapat tengok macam mana perubahan kita, macam mana kita punya prestasi pelajar.
Dengan kemudahan Google Classroom ni dan Google Meet, kami boleh guru-guru boleh merekod dan menyimpan di dalam Google Classroom. Kami dapat sedikit sebanyak dapat membantu pelajar-pelajar untuk catch up balik apa yang mereka tertinggal.
Google Classroom-ஐ பயன்படுத்துவேன். ஆசிரியர் கொடுக்கும் பாடங்களை Google Classroom பயன்படுத்தி செய்வேன். மற்ற செயல்களில் ஆப்ஸ் பயன்படுத்தியும் எனது வேலைகளை செய்வேன். உதாரணத்திற்கு Canvas, Quiz, KPM Play பயன்படுத்தி சொல் விளையாட்டு விளையாடுவேன்.
Bila kita diperkenalkan dengan portal delima ini, sebenarnya ianya amat berguna kepada guru-guru dan juga anak pelajar lah. Satunya, ia menjadikan satu platform di mana anak-anak kita dapat maklumat daripada portal ini. Sudah tentu guru juga mendapat manfaat yang besar dalam portal delima inilah.
Penggunaan portal delima ni sangat berguna kepada kami guru-guru untuk menyampaikan pengajaran dan pembelajaran secara atas talian. Salah satu apps yang kami dah gunakan ialah Google Meet dan juga Google Classroom.
Menggunakan pelantar delima,
membuatkan murid ni rasa seronok, mereka lebih suka meneroka ilmu-ilmu baru dan penyampaian itu lebih mudah dan cepat diterima.
Using my Google Classroom, I still can learn wherever I am.
Like me, this online class has encouraged shy students to far more forthcoming to ask questions and participate.
In a way, the MCO has acted as a catalyst to accelerate digital transformation, as teachers are now engaged in the delivery of digital learning, create interesting learning activities, have more fun, and become more collaborative.
The key for many teachers is to choose a platform that is familiar to them and also the students. And we are lucky enough to have our MOE prepared the Dilemma platform for us, which allowed us to use the Google Classroom.
I think that online learning and the traditional class learning can complement each other.
This new learning, the way of learning is actually opened up a new world for us.
Using Google Classroom, it is relatively new. We have started using it more because of this authentic need to actually use it. It is going to be the future of the education system.
Classroom is one of the most highly used education apps, not just in Malaysia, but also globally.
Okey, itu sedikit sebanyak lah tentang penggunaan Dilemma setakat ini. Kalau tuan-tuan dan puan-puan mempunyai sebarang soalan, don't be shy, boleh tanya saja semasa saya buat pembentangan. Okay, so this is the type of data that we are getting from all the schools in Malaysia. Okay, and this informs us of the teaching and learning strategy of the schools. Alright, so it also shows us schools that are doing very well, but it also shows us schools that may not have all the necessary access to the internet or the devices. Right, so this tells us that we have to customize a lot of the training and resources to the individual schools who may need it and who are at different stages of their online learning. Okay. All right. So at Google, okay, it's very similar to Microsoft and Apple. Kita pun mempunyai framework yang sendiri, okay, yang kita cadangkanlah untuk pihak sekolah dan KPM untuk guna pakai, alright? Okay, so our framework for transformation is really simple, okay? Technology is only a tool, okay, but it takes a lot of effort, from the school leadership, teachers and students to be able to use technology in a meaningful way. Alright, so very similar. I will talk to each of you today about some of these key points here, but not everything. Alright, and I'd like to share some of the key things that we'll be doing this year together with the Ministry of Education. Alright, so to start with transformation, we look at all these various ingredients. Alright, we take a look at the professional development, the vision, the culture, and the learning approach. So for today, I'll just talk about the vision, culture, professional development, and the learning approach. Okay, so for anyone in the audience today who is keen, you're able to explore our Google website where we have a lot of strategies for school transformation, and this is all free and available on our website. Okay, so cool. Maybe let me share with you a success story in Japan, all right, where we have seen the entire country successfully transition to online learning. All right, so maybe let me just share this video about how the school leaders, teachers, and students have adapted to the entire process.
には小学校が42校、中学校が20校あり、その中で働く教員数は約1800人となっています。現在、教員の長時間勤務が大きな課題となっています。この教員の働き方を変えていくには、業務や制度を変えるのみならず、働き方そのものを変えるツールが必要であると考えました。その一つが G Suite for Education Chromebook であると考えております。
授業用パソコンと公務用パソコン2台を用意するのは予算的に困難でした。Chromebook は通信料や都市経費を含めたトータルコストが抑えられるため導入を決定いたしました。
私は主に Google スライドを使って、授業をしています。子どもたちがキーボードを使って打ったものがそのまま残っているので、こちら側ももう一度打ち直したり印刷する手間がないので、そこは効率化にとてもつながっているかなというふうに思います。
年間指導計画を作る際に、これまでは一人一人の教員が別々に作業をしていたんですが、スプレッドシートを使うと共同で作業できてみんなで編集できるので、より効率的にクリエイティブに仕事ができていてとても助かっています。
今までゼロから作っていたものがなくなるので、一人で作るよりも非常に時間の短縮ができますので、そこがメリットだと思っています。
とても起動が早いので、授業の隙間時間を使ったり、中休み、昼休みを使って作業をすることができています。
Google フォームを使ってテストを作り、子どもたちの評価をしています。事前に答えを入力しておけば自動的に採点ができるので、効率的に時間を使うことができます。
勤務時間について調査がありましたけども、各先生方の統計を取って平均約1時間ぐらい退勤時間が早くなったので、とてもいいことだなと思いました。
Okay, so I think we need to address a very key thing when designing our school of the future, especially schools that are undertaking a huge change during COVID, which is to really focus on the student learning journey. Okay, so at Google, it's really about having the student focus as to how they adapt with technology change and how they adapt with not being able to see their friends or their teachers in a physical way, all right? But what are the types of skills that we can teach them to be more independent and to be more creative and more collaborative, even though they are not seeing their teachers and their friends consistently, okay? So it's very, so we take in 4 components, okay? So the first component is really personalizing the learning for the student, okay? With the curriculum that we have, how do we make the student learning journey more personalized? In fact, how do we make the Lima more personalized to teachers and students? Okay. The second thing is, how do we teach students to be more collaborative and diverse? Okay. Macam mana kita nak mengajar mereka untuk meningkatkan lagi, okay, kerjasama mereka antara guru dan murid. The third thing is independence, alright, which is reflected in project-based and self-managed. So with the pandemic, you know, cikgu-cikgu memang tidak ada di dalam kelas ataupun di rumah untuk melihat sama ada guru, sama ada murid dah hasilkan kerja rumah mereka. Okay, so we are entrusting a lot of students to be independent in their self-learning, all right, especially when schools are closed. And the fourth thing is, how do we make it authentic and experiential to the students? How do we make it as meaningful as it is to their lives, all right? So, contohnya anak petani di Kedah, how can their learning be made relevant to support the industry or the business in Kedah, right? So we have to make it very localized, okay? How do we support, okay, students in Sabah and Sarawak who have very different challenges and different backgrounds to someone who is in KL? Okay, so this year itself, we want to make the Lima to cater to all these 4 key areas. Okay, so maybe we'll just talk a bit about the learning approach, all right? All right, so yes, students should always be at the center when implementing technology, all right? And technology should be enabling teachers to do the best they can, all right? So, kita sering mendengar konsep beban guru, all right, untuk menggunakan beban di sekolah. So when I was a teacher in school, I was also doing many things. Okay, so saya juga menjadi guru kelas, saya menjadi guru disiplin, dan juga menjadi warden pada satu ketika masa. Alright, so seseorang guru itu perlu mengimbangkan semua tugas dia pada satu masa atau dalam sepanjang minggu persekolahan dia kena memakai banyak topi ini. Okay, so how do we use technology to reduce the workload? Okay, can we move all schools to ERPH, for example? Okay, can we track student attendance better through Google Forms? All right, so we need to find ways to use technology to enable teachers to reduce their workload and to help them become better in the classroom. Okay. All right. So yeah, again, the 4 concepts are making it very personal and relevant to the student. All right. So how do we make sure that in their Delima profile this can be more personalized? Okay. The second thing is how do we measure collaboration? Okay, contohnya kalau saya sebagai seseorang guru, memberi kerja rumah di Google Classroom, bagaimana kita boleh melihat student-student lain, memberi input, ke dalam kerja rumah tersebut. Okay, so how do we track that in Google Classroom? Alright. The third thing is, how do we also measure student independence? Keberdikarian seseorang murid tersebut dalam menjalankan kerja rumah dia, walaupun sekolah tidak dalam bentuk fizikal. Alright. And the fourth thing is making it very localized to them. Tak kira sama ada mereka lahir di Kedah, Sabah atau Sarawak. Pengalaman tersebut kena bersesuaian dengan latar belakang mereka. Alright. Okay, so again, these are the 4 concepts that we always strive to look for in Google itself. Okay, so with the student learning outcomes in mind, then we look at the vision of the school. We look at the vision of the school and KPM as a whole. All right. So, what is KPM strategy in helping schools transition to online learning? All right. Okay. So I won't talk too much about this because my colleagues from Apple and Microsoft would have covered this already. But again, we need very strong leaders in the schools. Tak kira daripada pengetua, guru besar from the PK1, we need to be establishing a committee in the school that can help drive digital teaching and learning. So bukannya semua jatuh pada bahu penyelaras ICT di sekolah, right? But we also need a very supportive school leadership as well. All right. And at Google, we offer this type of trainings for school leaders and school administrators. Okay, so for a lot of school leaders, it's very important to over-communicate. Okay, so lebih banyak bercakap, lebih bagus daripada kurang bercakap. Alright, so how do you communicate your vision effectively is super crucial. Okay, and we also need our school leaders to lead by example. Okay, so let's say if you want your entire school to use Google Classroom atau menggunakan pelantar Delima, tetapi barisan pemimpin di sekolah pun tidak pakai. But so we need we need the school leadership to lead by example as well. Okay. All right. The other thing is about culture. Okay. So di Google, kami suka sangat membuat banyak eksperimen to test new ideas. All right. To test new ideas on our products, and this extends to the way we test new ideas when it comes to teaching and learning as well. Okay. So yeah, maybe we can talk a bit about how teachers have been trying out many new ideas when schools are closed. So let me show you this example from the Maharashtra state in India.
मेरा नाम अजमत इकबाल है और मैं एक गवर्नमेंट एडेड उर्दू हाई स्कूल में अंग्रेजी पढ़ाता हूँ। हमारे बच्चे ऐसे परिवारों से आते हैं जिन्हें डेली जद्दोजहद करनी पड़ती है। कई माँ बाप दूर गांव से बच्चों को स्कूल भेजते हैं, उन्हें तालीम की अहमियत पता है।
मेरे अम्मी 7वीं तक पढ़े हुए हैं और मुझे और मेरे बहनों को बोलते हैं कि खूब पढ़ो और खूब मेहनत करो ताकि तुम अपने पैरों पर खड़े रह सको।
मुझे आगे जाके मेडिकल कॉलेज ज्वाइन करनी है, लेकिन मार्क्स के बिना मुझे मौका नहीं मिलेगा।
मैं भी इन हालातों से गुजर चुका हूँ, जिनमें स्कूल आना और पढ़ाई जारी रखना कितना मुश्किल है। इसीलिए मेरी कोशिश होती है कि हमारे बच्चों को मेयारी तालीम मिल सके। कोविड के माहौल में हमें डर था कि बच्चे कहीं पीछे न रह जाएं। हमारे स्कूल में डिस्टेंस लर्निंग के लिए सहूलतें कम थी, तो हम टीचरों को ही कोई नया रास्ता ढूंढना था। महाराष्ट्र सरकार की तरफ से जब गूगल फॉर एजुकेशन की ट्रेनिंग दी गई, तब मुझे गूगल टूल्स को समझने का मौका मिला। इन डिजिटल टूल्स के साथ हमें ज़्यादा इक्विपमेंट की ज़रूरत नहीं थी, सिर्फ एक डिवाइस और बेसिक इंटरनेट चाहिए था घर पर पढ़ाई जारी रखने के लिए। दूसरे टीचर से भी जल्द ही सीख गए और फिर हमने ऑनलाइन क्लासेस शुरू कर दी। शुरू में दिक्कत ये थी कि ज़्यादातर बच्चों के पास मोबाइल अवेलेबल नहीं था। एक ही घर में 3-4 बच्चे एक ही मोबाइल शेयर किया करते थे। तो फिर हमने लेसन्स की वीडियोस बनाकर उनकी लिंक शेयर करनी शुरू की, ताकि बच्चे उन्हें कभी भी देख सकें।
मुझे इंग्लिश बहुत मुश्किल जाता है, पर जब मैं सर के वीडियो को रिप्ले करके देखती हूँ तो मुझे बहुत इजी हो जाता है।
I am following in your footsteps and I don't want to.
घर पर पढ़ाई की सहूलत से खासकर गर्ल्स में बहुत चेंज आया है। अब वो पहले ऐसी शर्माती नहीं है, बल्कि खुलकर बात करती है। हर क्लास में हम टेस्ट की एक लिंक भेजते हैं, जिससे बच्चों को टॉपिक को समझने में आसानी होती है और हमें भी उन्हें जांच करने का मौका मिलता है। अब तमाम इवैल्यूएशन और ऑफिस का काम ऑनलाइन हो चुका है। पेपर वर्क कम हो गया है, इसलिए टीचरों के पास ज़्यादा वक्त भी है क्लास प्रिपरेशन के लिए और ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट भी है। यहाँ तक के पेरेंट्स को भी ऑनलाइन जुड़ना आसान लगने लगा है। मैंने कभी किसी किताब में पढ़ा था कि द सीक्रेट ऑफ चेंज इज टू फोकस ऑल योर एनर्जी नॉट ऑन फाइटिंग द ओल्ड बट बिल्डिंग द न्यू। हम हमेशा अपने हालात का मुकाबला नहीं कर सकते, हाँ, लेकिन नए ज़राए का इस्तेमाल करते हुए उन्हें बदल ज़रूर सकते हैं।
Okay, so tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, so kamu baru saja melihat contoh sekolah di India. Walaupun sekolah tersebut mempunyai dalam keadaan yang boleh dikatakan serba kekurangan, pandemik ini telah mengajar mereka bahawa budaya sekolah tersebut untuk bertukar daripada traditional teaching kepada new ways of teaching, sangat menggalakkan lah, alright. So a lot of schools, not just in Malaysia tapi di seluruh dunia, mencari pelbagai cara yang baru untuk memastikan anak-anak mereka, anak-anak murid mereka, mempunyai akses yang sama rata. So kamu pun boleh lihat tadi, bukannya mereka ada tablet yang canggih atau laptop yang baru, tapi semua mereka memakai peranti yang sedia ada. Alright, so for a lot of schools, mereka sedang menyelesaikan dirilah dengan budaya yang baru ini. So a lot of teachers, school leaders and students are trying their best to adapt. So in Google, inilah antara prinsip-prinsip kami lah. Curiosity, so kamu sentiasa kena punya minat untuk sentiasa explore benda yang baru, benda yang tidak pernah dicuba. Agency adalah tanggungjawab lah. So ownership, self ownership over your teaching and learning. Collaboration, collaboration basically means kerjasama, tapi kerjasama dalam cara yang boleh meningkatkan lagi prestasi dan kebernasan sesebuah idea tersebut. And the last one is risk taking. Macam mana kita boleh mengambil risiko, dengan cara yang paling selamat dan terbaik. Kerana hanya dengan mengambil risiko, baru sesebuah institusi, guru dan murid boleh menjana idea yang lebih bagus. So maybe I'll walk through the 4 things at once. So curiosity in Google is like this lah. So a lot of our company culture is translated into our teaching and learning strategy as well. So in Google, kita melayan semua pekerja sebagai pemilik syarikat juga. So dengan mindset tersebut, saya sebagai seseorang pekerja juga merupakan seseorang pemilik. So with more ownership, they feel more empowered to really control the destiny of their career and the company as well. So kita selalu menggalakkan our own employees to question, ini betul ke pelaksanaan ini, boleh tak kita menukar cara pelaksanaan sesebuah proses atau procedure. Alright, so we always treat our employees like they are the own owners of the company, and we always ask them to challenge the status quo. All right, and the ability to share ideas is also a must. Okay, so for us in our office, okay, bila bila pandemik ini dah berakhir, saya pun ingin menjemput tuan-tuan dan puan-puan untuk melawat pejabat Google kami di KL Central. Alright, so tuan-tuan dan puan-puan boleh melihat macam mana kita merekakan ruang yang khas untuk kami bekerja dan menjana idea-idea yang kreatif. Alright, so we provide a very safe physical space for our employees to really think about how best can they be more creative. Alright, so taking this to, okay, so even in our toilets, okay, kita pun meletak new information on the toilet, right? So every time you go to the toilet, you can always be thinking and reading about new information as well. All right, so this is something that we call learn anywhere. All right, so no matter where you are in the Google office, there's always something for you to do and to learn. All right, even in the toilet. Okay, so kita pun nak menggalakkan, alright, konsep-konsep ini untuk dijadikan reality lah di sekolah. Okay, but of course suited for an educational purpose in school. Alright, so alright, the culture itself, okay, the physical space, and how we encourage learning anywhere. Okay, so walaupun kamu pergi tandas, kamu pun boleh belajar juga. Okay, alright, so we also have something called 20% projects. Okay, so 20% projects maksudnya, okay, 80% of it is based on our core responsibilities lah. Okay, so 80% kerja kami berfokuskan terhadap tugas kami, alright. Tapi Google juga membenarkan kami, okay, explore another 20% yang tidak berkaitan langsung dengan tugas harian kami, alright. Sebab 20% ini menggalakkan kreativiti kami lah. Okay, so di sekolah-sekolah juga kita juga ingin menggalakkan murid-murid untuk explore, okay, subjek-subjek lain yang mungkin tidak diajar di sekolah atau bukan dalam aliran mereka. Alright, so we believe that 20% projects is very beneficial to how we create more ideas or creativity. Okay, so let me share an example of 20% project punya kejayaan. Okay, so tuan-tuan dan puan-puan mungkin sangat familiar dengan konsep Gmail lah, alright. So tuan-tuan dan puan-puan ada Gmail sendiri dan Pelantar Delima pun ada menggunakan Gmail. So Gmail ini, okay, Gmail was born out of software engineers 20% project, alright. So this software engineer who was working in Google, 80% of his day-to-day tasks was not focused on building Gmail, but it was his 20%. So with his 20% of time, okay, he dedicated it to building a very user-friendly email. All right. So one of the major success is using the 20% project to build a very incredible product, which is called Gmail today. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So how do we encourage our students to take on projects that are beyond their day-to-day PDPC, all right? So that's something to think about, okay? All right, and collaboration at Google is also very important, okay? We always work in teams, all right? And that's why all our products, Google Docs, Google Slides, okay, sangat was designed in a way to encourage collaboration, all right? The way Google Classroom was designed is to encourage collaboration as well. Okay. All right. And we also encourage risk taking. Okay. Bagaimana kita dapat mengambil risiko yang lebih tinggi, alright, without compromising the company. Okay. So kita kena menggalakkan murid-murid kita untuk menjadi lebih berani. Okay. Lebih berani bertanyakan soalan, lebih berani, okay, mencabar sesebuah idea dan kebenaran idea tersebut. Alright. So how do we encourage more confidence and risk-taking abilities in our students to make their ideas and their homework a lot better? Okay. All right. So yeah, you know, we always encourage frequent participation. Tetapi with frequent participation, kita pun memberi penghargaan. All right. So the way to encourage more risk taking is to also acknowledge the student, right? So contohnya kalau seseorang murid itu tanya soalan yang mungkin tidak munasabah, kita jangan memperkecilkan usaha murid tersebut. Okay, so guru tersebut bolehlah memberi penghargaan kerana murid tersebut sanggup dan berani bertanyakan soalan. Okay, so yeah, the way we appreciate risk taking is by giving appreciation as well. Okay, so the third last pillar is of course professional development. Okay, so professional development ini boleh diibaratkan sebagai ladap, atau latihan dalam perkhidmatan. So in over the last year, we have also worked with the MOE to certify a lot of teachers. Alright, so these teachers are certified, and we encourage them to be the change agents in the school, to be able to use Google Classroom or all the applications in Delima to encourage more digital teaching and learning. Okay, so let me share you about a story of an Indonesian teacher and how he has helped his school certify more teachers.
Pendidikan ketika dibantu dengan teknologi, kita dapat terus berjuang untuk membagikan ilmu. Saya Topari, saya guru TIK di SMA Negeri 1 Playan, Gunung Kidul. Pada saat pandemi seperti ini, hampir semua sekolah di negeri ini menerapkan pembelajaran jarak jauh. Di sisi lain, saya masih melihat banyak rekan-rekan guru yang literasi digitalnya masih perlu ditingkatkan. Untungnya, dari tahun 2015, saya sudah bergabung dengan komunitas Google Educator Group. Komunitas ini mengajarkan kepada saya banyak ilmu. Beberapa hari sebelum PJJ dimulai, saya menyiapkan Google Suite for Education di sekolah kami. Kita lalu bersama-sama melakukan upgrading guru dari sisi kemampuan dengan menggunakan Google Suite for Education. Begitu PJJ dimulai, kita pindahkan semua proses pembelajaran yang awalnya di kelas menjadi pembelajaran di Google Classroom. Di sini banyak tools yang bisa kita pakai, dari tools yang dipakai untuk menyampaikan materi kepada siswa sampai dengan mengabsensi. Di sini juga kita menerapkan kelas virtual dan mengintegrasikan semua itu ke dalam portal pembelajaran Kama Wahabita. Dengan adanya kreativitas, dukungan teknologi, serta sarana, siswa bisa belajar dimanapun mereka berada. Dan saya yakin juga literasi digital orang tua akan semakin meningkat. Kedepannya, saya akan terus mengupayakan pemahaman teknologi pembelajaran digital kepada rekan guru, murid maupun orang tua. Saya yakin dengan adanya teknologi ini, guru-guru akan semakin terbantu untuk melewati tantangan pendidikan yang ada di depan mata.
Okay, so let me just share a bit more about professional development and what it looks like in Google and what our plans are for teachers and students this year. Okay, so yeah, we see that 71% of teachers attribute stress over the pandemic because they're not very comfortable in making a very big jump. Okay, all right. So yeah, I think these are some of the tools that we use, that is available for all teachers and students to be able to use applications in Delima successfully. Okay, so in the Google website, if you go, there is something called the Teacher Center. So the Teacher Center pun ada kursus-kursus percuma untuk guru-guru, mempertingkatkan kemahiran mereka. Alright, and then we have something called certified training. Okay, so kita ada plan besar lah untuk untuk certify banyak guru tahun inilah di Malaysia. Alright, and then so Teacher Center certification, and then we also have community kami yang dikenali sebagai Google Educator Groups. Okay, so Google Educator Groups ini berfungsi sebagai network lah of support untuk menyokong pendidik menyokong pendidik yang lain. Alright, and then we have something at the bottom here called certified innovators. Okay, so certified innovators boleh dikira sebagai a very powerful expert lah in using Google tools to create really important lesson plans in school. All right. Okay, so in our teacher center, okay, so para pemimpin di sekolah dan juga guru di sekolah juga boleh melayan, okay, teacher center kami. Alright, so teacher center kami ini mempunyai pelbagai kursus asas, okay, tentang bagaimana menggunakan Google Classroom, Google Docs dan Google Slides, okay. Sorry, ini banyak orang yang sedang cari saya, okay. Alright, and like I mentioned, communities as well. So there are a lot of communities, Google Educator Group communities in Malaysia that we have, right, that we can also introduce to IAB. All right, and last but not least, okay, is certifications. Okay, so last year we were able to certify close to 3,000 teachers in Malaysia. All right, and this year we aim to hit at least 5,000 more teachers in Malaysia with the Google Certified Educator. All right, so we have level 1 and level 2. All right, and we are working closely with BSTP to be able to roll out more certifications to school leaders as well as teachers. Okay. And yeah, this is the Google Certified Trainer Program. Okay, so trainer ini adalah seseorang yang boleh melatih lebih banyak guru dalam menjadi certified educator. Alright, so this is like the master level lah, where we this is boleh dikira sebagai guru cemerlang lah in our context of the Google world. Alright, so you have certified educator level 1, level 2, and then you have the certified trainer. Alright, so this is like the Guru Cemerlang status in the education world for Google. Yeah, so this is GCE. This is GCE, but then the next level is the Google Certified Trainer. Okay, so this is yeah, you can refer to this as yeah, like a Guru Cemerlang or a SISC plus type of certification that we give to our educators who can train other teachers to become more innovative. Okay, and then we also have the Certified Innovator program, right? So Certified Innovator is applicable to not just teachers but also school leaders. So how do they use technology to really drive school transformation? Right. So the Certified Innovator program is also at the top of our professional development. Okay. All right, so not just that, not just official certification, okay, we also have other things to help students, all right, in terms of the areas of computer science, okay, internet safety, okay, cara mereka menjaga keselamatan peribadi semasa melayari internet, okay, and also things like applied digital skills, okay, so now that more and more students are using Delima, okay, a lot of them are learning how to type on documents, okay, build presentation slides, write proper emails. Okay, so kemahiran asas ini juga boleh diukur, okay, dengan applied digital skills program ini. Alright, so for students kita pun ada certification juga ya untuk certify mereka dari segi kemahiran asas dalam menggunakan aplikasi-aplikasi seperti documents, slides, spreadsheet dan sebagainya. Okay, so yeah, I think this is the overall summary of our professional development. Okay, and yeah, I think that's it for me today. So I think, of course, go ahead. Pesara, of course. So walaupun seseorang guru itu sudah bersara atau dah masuk pension, they can still join our GEG groups. Tidak ada masalah. Okay, so I think the requirement adalah untuk mereka menyumbang idea lah untuk membangunkan lagi group tersebut. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Another question. Our focus is more on leadership, which is our client is the age of within 45 to 50 something lah. So how can we, to unlike the one that functions as the innovator, so how we can do that? Yes, innovator.
Yeah, so I think the key focus here, for at least from IAB's perspective as a leadership training arm, is to focus on the professional development programs, right? So the innovator program is something we can deliver for teachers and school leaders. So we have a series of labs that we introduce the school leaders or even leaders within the MOE themselves to undergo, and this helps them to create, for example, school transformation plans. So if you're a principal, it's school transformation plans, but if you're at the district or even at the higher level in Pusat, we have suited, tailored courses for those type of transformations. Yeah.
Is it free or you have to pay?
So BSTP is always very good at asking us for freebies, so we are very used to that question. So of course, with the current investments that we have put into the Lima together with MOE, then yeah, we will try to make a lot of things as free as possible. But as we scale up, then I cannot guarantee that it will continuously be free. But
because numbers of leadership, Malaysia is 10,000 over,
10,000 over in the school or the PPD?
School.
Oh, each pengetua lah,
School,
basically, each pengetua and group besar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we have various programs that we are doing in Malaysia. So there is research programs, there is programs just for teachers, but yeah, we can explore how we can upskill more of these senior leaders in school. Okay.
So you have to help IAB.
No problem, no problem. That can be done, no issue. So because we have some funds this year to support school transformation. Yeah. Okay. Ada soalan yang lain tak? Tak ada. Okay.
Di auditorium kalau ada soalan lain.
Yes, no problem.
Tak ada apa lagi.
Okay, thank you very much. Looking forward to working with IAB lah. Alright.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada Encik Peter Lam. Did I get it right? Yeah. Okay. Right, Encik Peter Lam, wakil daripada Google di atas presentation itu tadi. Baiklah, seterusnya majlis menjemput yang berbahagia Datuk Haji Kasim bin Haji Muhammad Ibrahim untuk naik ke pentas diiringi oleh Ketua Pusat Tuan Haji Faridun bin Said untuk menyampaikan cenderahati kepada representatif Google team kita, Encik Peter Lam. Silakan. Terima kasih Encik Peter dan terima kasih kepada Yang Bahagia Datuk. Baik, dengan itu berakhirlah bengkel perkongsian strategik dari representatif dari Google, Apple dan Microsoft dengan fokus kepada kepimpinan digital abad ke-21 pada pagi ini. Diharap hadirin hadirat telah mendapat sedikit sebanyak info dan probably boleh memulakan planning untuk meneruskan apa yang telah kita dapat pada hari ini. Terima kasih kerana meluangkan masa untuk mengikuti bengkel ini dan dengan itu, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.